just all about fuck you to everything right now. It's just like the life I want to live. And so I hope you guys are making the same decisions. At the end of the day, I mean, I think I told you guys yesterday, this was all born out of, desire. This was not like, the company wasn't like, oh, we're gonna put on this big 3-day thing and like sell some shit. And like we used to do that at NCI. Like we used to do these 3-day boot camps, and like our salespeople loved it, and like that was kind of how we rolled. But I'm gonna be honest. How many of you guys, and maybe some of like I take fault for some of this actually. How many of you guys have been in the industry for some time and you feel like you've lived this like launch to launch model where you got to do a scholarship, or you got to do a challenge, or you got to do a webinar, or you got to do like all these things, like all these things that have been promoted as client acquisition tools. How many of you guys have done that in the past as like your primary acquisition tool? Just say me in the chat, just so I understand who I'm talking to today. Because I want to break it down. I want to beat most of that, to be honest. Okay, cool. So a lot of me's, right? Some of you guys, you're brand new to this. You haven't done any of those things. I'm not anti those things. I still think they work, but I think that building a company that depends on them is not a very good idea. And so what I actually think the new utility of those things is to use them quarterly at the very most, right? So the very most, you're going to want to use a framework quarterly, and I want to use them as an accelerant, not as something that you are leaning into and reliant upon. Okay, so these things are now accelerators. They're not transactional cash machines, and that's a really important distinction to start making. I know a lot of businesses that relied on this to create revenue. They're like, oh my gosh, I have to run a scholarship. I have to run a challenge. Then all of a sudden there's like this pressure. If it doesn't, work out the way that you want it to work out, now all of a sudden you feel like you failed, your business is going the wrong direction. It's not going to work. So really quickly, guys, if it's okay with you, I'm just going to recap, yesterday, we talked kind of about the old model. Really, like we really introduced a new model of doing things that is no longer just lead to sale. That is broken. I was actually doing some research to prepare for today, and one of the stats I saw is that the majority of funnels, like these are like well-constructed funnels online, are converting at less than 1%. Okay, so these are like digital marketers that are putting out information and they're converting at less than 1%. Yet funnels and products convert at a significantly higher rate than services. So here we have somebody whose entire effort is converting less than 1%, yet that less than 1% is still higher conversion than what we're doing. And so what we have to take away from that, what we have to extrapolate from that, is that the majority of us acting in the old model are still acting in an exercise of futility. Going to the marketplace, putting out content, bringing them in and selling them high ticket shit, especially recurring shit right away, is not the new model. Like, it's just not going to work. You can do it as many times as you want. Like, I'll wish you luck, but I know you're gonna fail. It's just not going to happen. I've just watched it happen way too many times over the course of the last year and a half as we watch this model shift. So today I wanted to talk about something completely different. Yesterday we told you we would burn it down. We kind of told you why the old model was stuck and how to start letting it go. I think we did that. Today I really want to start talking about how to build the machine. I want to give you guys strategies that are going to attract high quality clients. I don't want you chasing. And then towards the end of this, if it's cool with you guys, we'll do some brainstorming. Is that all right? Everybody good? Like, is that the agenda today? Yes or no in the chat would be helpful. If you don't like that, you can tell me to fuck off. I'm here for it. One of these days somebody's going to take me up on that, right? They're literally going to be like, Jason, fuck off. And I'm probably going to love you for it. Like, I'm here for it. So, really quickly, yesterday we also announced we also announced the 7-figure solopreneur. This is kind of like a secret project for us, and we had several of you guys do it. One thing that maybe you didn't see come out today, and we got several messages, several DMs, was like, man, like, I need this, but $500, I think it's $501, is too much for me today. Totally cool. We heard you. We love you. We introduced the 2 different pricing options today. So there's now a 2-pay and a 3-pay associated with it if the 501 was a little bit too much. So Joe, I don't know if you have the Google Doc handy. If you don't mind throwing that in the chat, what you guys can see is you can see access to that. Now, I also did something that I wasn't gonna do. I was in the gym this morning. I was squatting. I know it doesn't look like it, but I do still work out every now and then. And I called Joe while I was squatting, so it wasn't very much weight on my back. And I was like, yo, I feel like we should do more. As I always want to over deliver. Now this product in and of itself is going to retail $1,500 plus. We're already giving it to you significantly discounted. We're already giving you 2 months access to the Institute. Like it was hard to figure out what more we could do, but I think we found something that is absolutely, utterly ridiculous. I can't believe we're giving it away. And I'm going to share that with you guys at the very end of this. So just make sure you guys stick around to the end, and I'll let you guys know what it is we're going to do for you. So let's dive in, right? So revisiting yesterday, I gave you guys some homework, right? One of the things that I asked you guys to do and to develop on your own was kind of this chart, right? I asked you guys to build out what could you give away for free. What could you give away very low ticket, so in the $1 to $3 range? What could you give away low ticket? And what could we be doing mid ticket that ascends to like our core service, okay? Our core product. Remember, we're no longer in the business of scaling service. The new model, the profitable model, the solo 7-figure model is not going to be scaling one-to-one services. We're not in the marketplace of hiring assistant coaches. We're not in the marketplace of hiring endless amounts of VAs and setters to fucking be getting us lots of sales calls. Like, there's just shit that we don't want to do anymore. We don't need to fucking do it. And so we're setting you guys up in a position where you're not doing it. So what I want you to think about with this list in front of you, right, is I now want you to think about like the flow, but not the flow to your core service. I want you to think about the flow to your mid-ticket. I want you to think about the flow to your mid-ticket. So the mid-ticket, yesterday we talked about this being anywhere from like $500 to like $2,500. I think most of us in the fitness and nutrition space are probably going to land somewhere in like the $1,000 range. Yo, my food just got here. I'm having lunch delivered, because when you're on Zoom all day, you gotta have lunch delivered, right? Most of our mid tickets are gonna land somewhere in the $500 to $2,000 or $2,500 range. I think you guys are gonna be around $1,000. So what is the journey to get there? Is there anybody on this call that feels like they have a fantastic journey to get to that? Like anybody, you guys can say me. If you think it's you, I would love to pull you off mute. We can talk about it. Is there anybody that wants to come off mute and brainstorm this with me? Because I actually feel like us doing this in person is better than me just lecturing you on it. I think us getting into some application would be better. Is there anybody that wants to volunteer? Johnny, let's do it. And then Drage, I'll grab you. Johnny, let's do it, brother. Come off mute. I saw your hand go up.
That's cool, man.
Awesome, bro. How are you?
Fucking awesome.
I love to hear that, man. I love to hear that. So let's talk about this, right? So core service, let's just so I understand what it is we're selling at the core. Is it nutrition coaching, fitness coaching?
I'm the fucking weirdo in the group, man. I do leadership training for companies.
Okay, amazing. So leadership training for companies, sick. So on the very front end, for free, what are we thinking is gonna live there? Like remember, we've evolved the lead magnet. We're no longer doing like the bullshit lead magnet. Obviously, you ain't giving away a fucking cookbook, but you're probably not giving away like the 10 fucking cultural commandments either.
No. So I was thinking about this yesterday, and just because of what I'm doing right now with one of the companies, like a free thing could be, I don't even know what the fuck to call it. Like,
well, let's zoom out and let's go back to the words we talked about yesterday, right? So we talked about the new state of marketing being ideal state marketing. So let's unpack this a little more. What's the ideal state of somebody that comes through your program? Right? They go through leadership training with you. What is this ideal state? They're sitting by the pool, their team is working for them. Like, what does it look like? Paint the picture for me.
that they have leaders that they can rely on, that are accountable, that have fewer stories, and that do the shit that they say they're going to do.
Great. And so what does that do for the company?
Increase production, increase cash flow.
Great. So if we're talking about an ideal state CEO that's going through your leadership training, very, not so different from like a fuck you life type thing, right? Which is where it's like, yo, I'm sitting here with my family for once at peace, knowing that my leadership team is so well trained that any fire that's happening while I'm on vacation is being put out the proper way. How many CEOs are actually at that level of peace? Let's be honest. Like, yo, I'm getting on a plane Friday and I'm not coming back till Tuesday. You think I'm at that level of peace right now? I'm just gonna be honest, I'm not. These motherfuckers know I'll be checking my phone every 5 minutes, right? I'll be like, yo, is this shit getting done? Part of that's just my own fucking neuroses. Yeah, Andre, I got some anxiety issues, bro. Like, it is what it is, man, right? But part of that's my own neuroses, but part of it, like, candidly, and you guys have seen me talk about this, I don't feel like I'm a very good leader. Like, I'm just being honest. I've built really big companies. I've never said I'm a very good leader. I'm very good at marketing and sales. I'm very good visionary. I'm not the operator. That's why we have operators on our team. But the ideal state of this person is what? Less anxiety, less stress, more trust, more cash.
Yep.
So when we're putting out free things, right, we're probably talking about like teams that produce cash.
Yeah.
Culture that produces cash. Teams that like decrease stress. Because all of these things are seen within the ideal state. Make sense?
Yep.
So what is that front end thing and how does that transition into very low ticket?
So it's this process of like identifying, like just taking a look of like where the fuck you are and where you want to go, and just like, okay, that's this is where you want to go. What is it going to fucking take to get?
So this is the mistake a lot of you guys are going to make, and thank you guys for doing this with me. This is the mistake a lot of people are going to make. You just gave me a vehicle. Looking at yourself, right? That's a vehicle. Self-reflection, self-discovery, that's a vehicle, that's a process. I need you to tell me, like, what is this free thing? What's the outcome I'm getting from it? Right? Becca Shaw, can I use you as an example?
Sure.
Guys, Becca's a private client. We've literally been doing this the last 2 days together. Okay? And so this morning, we came up with your free is what? It's 10-day lean out, right? Johnny, we didn't say 10 days of dieting. We didn't say 10 days of not drinking wine. We didn't say 10 days of restriction. We said at the end of 10 days, you're going to be leaned out. The end. You see what I'm saying? So like the free thing is there. Now, how do we thread that? How do we tie that into the $1? Because again, leads don't mean shit in this economy. Everyone that's telling you to fucking index for leads, I get it, your budget must be astronomical. Some of you guys are worried about a $501 investment to get your business off the ground. If you want to play the game of leads, you need to be worried about $5,000 to $50,000 a month in ad spend. So we're not indexing on leads. We're indexing on getting that first purchase, $1. $1. Becca, I believe my words to you this morning were like, we're no longer thinking about how to get people in the funnel. We're thinking about how do we get someone to spend the $1. Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't care how you get people in your funnel anymore, guys. The game has changed. It's not social media. It's not look at me, I'm a dancing monkey on TikTok. Right? The game is how do you spend your first dollar with me? I need to show intentional connection. So with Becca, it's 10-day lean out. What's the $1 upsell? It was access, right, to the program. It was like, yo, I'm giving you the resources, the same shit that I give my clients. Here it is. It's free. This is literally what we use with the clients. By the way, you want to feel like a client? For $1, you'll have the same accountability. You'll get the same group call once per week, and you'll have access to the workouts that my clients are doing. 10 days, $1. Pretty simple outcome. At the end of 10 days, you'll be in a position where you've leaned out significantly. Now, we might have to play with that word. We might need the word detox in there, right? We might need an anti-bloat. Like there's going to be some specific outcome that her audience connects to that we're going to nail there. But in actual application, the premise is really good. Johnny, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we got to figure out what that is. What is that front end piece? Okay? So once we now sell them the $1, remember our goal with the very beginning is to not be spending lots of money on these customers. We want to get paid. At the very least, we want to minimize our spend to acquire customers. So this is where we're going to stack a low ticket. So Becca, again, what do we come up with as the low ticket? Well, we went from 10-day lean out, access to the program. We have to shift the metric. You have to shift the metric. So people are coming in and they're getting 10 days with Becca. We can't just say, well, here's 18 more days. Because if 10 days was valued at $1, 18 more days, in theory, is valued at $1.80. Right? Simple economics. It's valued at $1.80. I cannot sell you $1 on 10 days and then give you the rest of the month for $48. Doesn't work. So what we now have to remind you is you just took 10 days of foundation, right? In her program, this is like the only time you got to remove wine. Congrats, you survived. Now we're pivoting and we're calling the 28 days rapid fat loss. So like 10 days was like the lean out, like lose inflammation, lose the bloat. You did not lose that much fat in 10 days. However, if you want to lose rapid fat, the next 28 days we're going to do it. Metric shift, two completely different things. Lean out, anti-bloat, anti-inflammation, etc. 28-day rapid fat loss, very different things, very different purchases. Both significantly discounted, both fantastic front-end entry points, neither of which require Becca to do anything in her business to deliver to them. There's a call that she's already doing on Monday, she's just inviting them there. What we uncovered as a bonus for her is that as we invite people to this call, her community is going to show up. And her community is going to be like, oh, you're in that 10-day thing? Oh my God, you're going to love the whole program. Her community is just going to do the selling for her. They're like, oh my God, you're going to love it here. You're never leaving. You have to do the 28. You know what? Better yet, skip the 28. Just sign up for the full program. She's not saying it. The community's saying it. They're there showcasing the outcome. She doesn't have to talk about it. Now, this works specifically for her business. I'm not saying that has to work in your business. But this works specifically for her. Right? Andre, exactly. Like the guys in the Institute. Great testimonials. You guys will see, every single day, we get people that go into Secrets and they post up their results of working with us. We don't always ask them. I will be very clear. Our ambassadors, we do ask them. Right? We let people come in earlier in the year as ambassadors and like, hey guys, can you promote us? Totally cool with it. Very open about it. But we have people all the time that promote us on their own volition as well. But for her, now at $47, we know definitively, and again, we have data to show this, with that funnel alone, with reasonable conversion, Joe, what's our conversion right now on the $47? It's like 40 to 60%, somewhere in there?
Like 50, yeah, right.
50%. If half of the people take the $47 sale, you will more than liquidate whatever you spend to get them in. Is there anybody here that would not take 400 customers, meaning somebody that spent at least $1 with you per month for free? Would you like 400 customers that have spent at least $1 with you for free every month? Yes or no in the chat? A fuck yes, right? Absolutely. Do we all agree that 400 people that have spent money with you are better than 400 people that have not spent any money with you? Obviously, these people are showing intent. Back to yesterday, we're in a very crowded marketplace. In a crowded marketplace, you guys having somebody that spent $1 with you, it's significantly easier to get them to spend another $1 with you, and another $1 with you, and then 48, and then 200, and then 2,000, and then 20,000, or whatever it is. It's much easier in those transitions because you've captured all of their attention. Now, at the end of that 47, Becca, we built out a $1,000 program, right? Which is a 12-week program that effectively is what your coaching would look like, sans Becca, in the 12 weeks, correct? Now, your coaching, I believe, for 12 weeks is $2,500, right? And now we're selling this at $1,000. I know your eyes got really big because we talked about $2,500 yesterday, and you're going to do it, right? Because before, I think you were like $1,800. But now we're going to $2,500. Here's what I want you guys to understand. When you start optimizing, right, and this is one of the biggest shifts that's going to allow you to win, so like take this to fucking heart. When you start optimizing everything you do to get to the mid-ticket price point, you will win. When you start optimizing everything you do to get to the mid-ticket price point, you will win. Do me a favor in the chat, if I could get you 400 customers every month. Customers, meaning somebody that spent between $1 and $47 with you. 400 of them, how many do you think you could sell your mid-ticket to? Post a number in the chat. I'm interested to know your thoughts. Becca's a converter, 300, amazing. Luis says 200. Man, you guys are very ambitious. If we all had 50% conversion, we'd all be filthy fucking rich, right? Filthy fucking rich. So here's the deal. Everybody in here's got some really big numbers. I think, Andre, you're probably closest, 20 to 40, right? Guys, let's just go with a really low number of like 10%. And let's say that's 40. Becca, that number was $1,000. How much money would that bring you if you sold 10% of your people on the $1,000 thing?
10% of my...
10% of the 400 customers that we can generate is what? 40 customers.
$40,000, yeah.
$40,000. How much overhead do you have on the $1,000 product?
Like nothing.
None. 3% strike fee. Right? How much money are you taking home on that 40,000? All of it.
40,000 minus 3%.
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. Right? You're taking home all that fucking money. Guys, we talked about yesterday, the rule of this game is profits. It's not top line revenue. Now, here's the thing. Is there anybody in here that thinks of the 40 people that buy her mid-ticket that 2 or 3 are not going to want to need her high-ticket shit? 2 or 3. I'm not even talking about 1%. I'm talking about 0.5% of the people that originally spent $1. Do we think that 0.5% of people might want her highest ticket, her $2,500? Guess what? While all of you are out there whoring yourselves out to the socials, she is not saying, buy my shit, buy my coaching. She is saying, let me buy your products. Or I'm sorry, she's saying, let me solve your problems. You then buy her products, and you gladly reach out to her saying, how do I work with you directly? When you do that, you will then have in turn conditioned yourself to effectively be ready to pay anything. Really good case study. I dropped on a call recently, I don't know, a little over a month ago, a call I was on that Joe and I have a program. It's basically us as a COO inside your business. If I came into your business and I ran this whole funnel for you, I visioned it, like Joe did the tech thing and built it out, we ran the ads for it, we assessed the data, we told you exactly how to structure the next offer, like, do you think you'd be more successful, yes or no? Like, we've done this a few times, I would hope that you do, but maybe you don't, maybe you think that we suck and that's okay. Great, right? By the way, this is effectively like the deepest level of integration with us. And I said, hey, that exists. And I said the bare minimum price tag on it is $50,000. That is the absolute cheapest you'll pay us for that service. After that call, someone texted me and said, hey, I want in on the COO program. I didn't drop it. I didn't even say it was for sale. But like half of the percent of people hit me up in text and was like, I want to be in your COO program. Okay, sick. Send me 50 grand, we're in. Right, we'll do this. I never indexed to sell them coaching. You cannot go on any of our socials right now and find any time where we're selling you coaching. It doesn't exist. So the question, right? The very first question you're asking yourself every day is, how am I getting people to the $1 offer? The real thing that we're indexing for is, how are we getting people to the mid-ticket? And what we have to start asking ourselves when we're achieving these things, right? When we are optimally getting people to the $1 is, how am I moving people from $1 to the mid-ticket? Here's how you're not doing it. This is one of the many metrics that has changed in this marketplace. You are not, like, listen carefully, I love you all. You're not doing this through conversation. How many of you love when you get a DM from a business owner? Like, you love it. You're so excited. You're like, there's no way a sale's coming. No chance this person wants my money. They genuinely give a shit about me as a human being. Here's the thing, like, we actually have people on our team that want to give a shit about you as a human being. I know your psychology says that they're just spamming you. That's a really difficult thing to overcome. Like, that's a very, very difficult thing to overcome. Well, as a premise, your business model should not rely on it, because you're not going to overcome it quickly and you're not going to overcome it rapidly. If you want to facilitate connection, which is a good idea, where do you do that? Well, I can tell you one thing that we tried. It didn't work very well, but I can tell you one thing we tried was we sold people these level ones, and on the back end we're like, hey, come do an onboarding. Came to an onboarding, we did this whole like song and dance, Britt talks, Joe talks, Jaron talks, I talk. It was great, people loved it, they felt very much part of the community. You know what happened at the end? They bought nothing. They bought nothing. Our upsell was shit. Why? Because any amount of connection that we facilitate outside of that group call, they're like, oh, they're gonna sell me some shit. Let me put my fucking invisible barrier up, and I'm not gonna buy anything that you're selling. If they came in passively in like a funnel on $1 on their own volition, we probably need to move them through it a very similar way. Those of you guys that came in the product yesterday and today, you bought right from a link in a Google document. By the way, those of you that are here, you signed up on a landing page. We haven't pressured any of you. No one's in your DMs, no one's trying to call you, no one's saying, oh my God, you need to get in this fucking program. No, it's $500. You either do it or you don't. If you broke right now, I guarantee you ain't gonna fucking be any better in like 3 weeks. And if you believe that you are, you need to come to my mindset shit on Thursdays and Fridays. Because I'll destroy that belief very quickly. But at the end of the day, we want to keep the movement to be very similar. So your question is twofold. One, how do I get people in on the front end at $1? Two, how do I get them to the mid-ticket? Right? Now, on rare occasion, you can sell mid-ticket from the top of your funnel, but listen carefully. I do not in any way advise selling your highest ticket from the top of funnel. Remember yesterday, we talked about automatic, repetition, duration, and never buyers. Everyone's competing in the kids' pool of the automatic buyers. If somebody comes in for $1, you now get to get them to the duration and the repetition. You get to be in front of them over and over and over again. You're not asking them to automatically, impulsively make an uncomfortable decision. You're asking them after exposure to your stuff to make a very comfortable decision. You're asking them after exposure to your stuff to make the next comfortable decision. Are you guys starting to see how this adds up? Is everybody with me? Yes or no in the chat? Let me see, somebody just asked a question. Can I clarify one thing? Is this example 10-day lean out? It's free. Okay, Pete, so her 10-day lean out is free. The $1 is access to all of her materials to assist you with it, right? So like in our example at NCI, the course materials are free, the certification is the $1. Right, so we just have to figure out what does that look like. Yep, Pete, you got it, man. Easy enough, no worries. Okay, so now the next question we have to ask ourselves, if we're all on the same page, if we all understand that we're indexing to get to the $1 purchase, and ultimately to get them to the $47, and then ultimately, realistically, middle of the funnel, like this is our new gold standard, $500 to $2,500, for most of you about $1,000. We have to now start asking ourselves, where does the traffic come from? Because like this is all well and good, but if we're not getting traffic in our funnel, none of this shit matters, right? We can say a different thing to nobody and get no response. We can say a completely different thing to nobody and get a completely similar response. So instead, what we're going to ask ourselves, right, is what are the actual sources of getting people in the funnel? Well, there's only 3. I think most of you guys know them. You can earn these people, you can borrow these people, or you can buy these people. That's it. There's no other option. How do we earn them? Well, we earn them pretty simply through social media. If you're going to go the social media route, please, 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 please don't optimize for account growth. I'm telling you, account growth will not grow your business. Like, my account's growing on accident right now because I'm optimizing for getting people to come in our funnel. That's all I care about. Ollie, did you or did you not send me a text this morning? My Instagram account is almost growing on accident.
Yeah, up 300 since Saturday.
Up 300 people since Saturday. We have not in any way indexed for that, right? Joe says stop going viral, start getting paid. Is there anybody in here? I mean, I would much rather get paid. We're here to make money. This is the 7-figure blueprint, not like the 7-figure following blueprint, right? Don't give a shit about your followers. I think there was like some idiot that had 1 million followers that sold like 3 t-shirts. Followers don't really do it, right? Shame. Gone viral, tons, no applications. Absolutely, happens all the time, dude. Happens all the time. And so at the end of the day, we're going to index for ideal state marketing. We explained that yesterday. If you're in the Institute, we'll throw the replay there. If you're not in the Institute, there's no replays available. Sorry, just get in the Institute. Everybody should do it. So we're going to leverage ideal state marketing. That's how we're going to earn them. Borrowing them. This is an interesting one to me. Joe made like a lot of money. I think he made like $750,000, some shit like that. right? You're on like a $750,000 run rate at the very least of literally borrowing traffic, right? This is hard-earned traffic that people have spent money, spent time, done whatever, right? Joe went in and he was like, hey, you already did all that shit. Like, can I just have your leads so I can sell them some shit? Like, that's pretty much what he did. Do you want to talk about that for a second, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely. So I sucked, keyword, at social media. And so I also understood that other people were way better at it than I was. Those other people were talking to the same exact people as I was, just with different outcomes, right? They wanted to help those same people get a different outcome. So it's like, hey, I know you love your audience. I know you're helping them. I help those same people in this way. Do you think it would be a fun conversation to help them together? They all said yes. One of them was the co-host of the Dr. Phil show. She had, I don't know, 4 million YouTube subscribers. I went from $15,000 months to $52,000 months in 30 days.
He borrowed. He just borrowed traffic. Now, you also ran a summit, right? $0 charge on the front end, right? There was like a small charge on the back end with the summit. Inside the summit, you got people that were interested in your outcome, right? Ideal estate marketing, interested in the outcome. You had a very low ticket offering. I think it was like less than $7, right? And then we moved them through your funnel from there. And so those of you guys that are stuck and you're like, I have no social media. I have no social media. Cool. There are like 20 people that are influential in your space, guarantee it. Give them the opportunity to come together and do good for this space. Like, spoiler alert, NCI at some point in the very near future is probably going to triple down on peptides. I can assure you that when we triple down on peptides, there will be a small summit of peptide medicine. Your entry fee will be $1. We'll have Jay Campbell, we'll have Dr. Bowen, right? We'll have Jesse James, we'll have all these motherfuckers that are out there. We'll bring them in over the course of the week. You'll attend the summit, you'll get this amazing information. What do you think will sell you on the back end? Probably the vault. It's very congruent to what you're buying on the front end, where continuing education literally happens every single week. Well, what do you think is going to happen when you're inside the vault? Well, now you have the best education in the world. Now you can create the best results in the world, but you still don't know how to reach your ideal client. Well, I don't really care how smart you are. If you don't have clients to help, you're still of zero impact. So now you probably should just come by the Institute. And so what you guys are starting to see is in the very beginning, it was emotional. You wanted to know more about peptides, come to the thing. Emotional decision, trigger, impulsive, boom, come in. Once you're in, and I've gotten that first purchase, which 70% of is emotional, I shared that with you yesterday, now I'm just going to logically move you through. When you stop moving through, I'm going to go back to hitting you with emotion. What I need you guys to understand is this is about journeys. If it's not becoming apparent yet, this is about customer journeys. This is no longer about one singular sale. Get them on your list, have a conversation, close them. That's a fucking transaction. Stop operating transactionally. It's not going to work. Instead, bring people through a journey. Joe Harris did this a long time in his business. He might still do it, I don't know. But he had this amazing thing, it was called Keto Camp. Right? And he was really smart because in the very beginning it was just a very emotional thing. How many applications monthly did you get for Keto Camp?
100 to 200.
100 to 200 applications to join his group program. Was it free or paid?
Free.
It was free. 100 to 200 applications to join a free thing. What happened when you sent somebody, hey, you're approved, you made it in? What happened? A free thing, by the way.
They're super pumped and thankful.
They fucking jump for joy. They're like, oh my God, I got in. Right? He created this emotional, visceral response. The whole metric was how many people can we keep through Keto Camp so at the very end we can do what?
Upsell them. 30
Make them an offer. 30 to 40% conversion. Guys, he's getting customers, right? What we actually need to figure out with Keto Camp, Joe, is now once they're in, how do we do $1? How do we get them to spend the first $1 on the front end? That's it.
I've been hanging around you long enough. I've already been thinking about it.
Great. So now we get them to spend, and honestly, I would say at that level, you'd get them to spend like $5. I don't think $1 is even necessary. We get them to spend $5 on the front end. If they spend $5 on the front end, I guarantee you'll see conversion go up to 50 to 60%. It's wild what you can do on the front end, right? So that's just borrowing, right? What we just talked about with Joe was kind of getting into paid. I'm going to tell you right now, 2025, heading into 2026, guys, I love buying customers. I love buying customers. It's never been easier. Now, I know some guru tried to throw shade at me earlier, so I'm going to throw it back, but I'm going to do it in a private setting. They said, how are you going to talk about not liking ads when you're clearly running ads? Let me clarify my statements. I love paid advertising. Let me give you the secondary component to that. You're a fucking idiot if you run paid traffic directly to your offer. If you run paid traffic to your coaching offer, you'd be better off going out front and lighting money on fire. Way cooler visual. Like, take a picture, put it on social media, you might get some followers, people might even buy from you because you look so rich that you can light money on fire. But I promise you, paid traffic directly to your offer will not convert. So if anyone ever hears, well, Jason doesn't like paid ads, but he runs ads, I absolutely run ads. Guys, please find an ad directly to the Institute. It doesn't exist. Please find an ad directly to book a call with me. It doesn't exist. I love buying customers. I don't like buying shit right to my offer because it doesn't convert. And I don't like lighting money on fire. We made a lot of it. I like to keep it. So the question we now have to start asking ourselves, where are we earning it? Where are we borrowing it? Where are we buying it? You don't just have to buy it on Facebook ads, although it's usually easiest to predict return, right? But you can also buy it. You can go in, you can run JVs with other people. Hey, like, can I buy a PS line on your email list? Can I pay for you to promote? Can I buy the advertising? I think like Justin Welsh has like advertising spots on his Solopreneur Saturdays. There's lots of people that have really big email lists. You could pay for a spot on the Morning Brew. All of these things are like paid things, but never are you going to pitch your main product. Remember, we're indexing for a journey to your mid-ticket. We're indexing for a journey to your mid-ticket. We have to stop thinking about things in direct response format. We have to stop doing that. Now, there's one more piece that you need to think about that will help facilitate these upsells. So when we start thinking about the journey, there's one key word I want to give you, and that keyword is consumption. I talked about this in reference to lead magnets yesterday. 90% of lead magnets that are downloaded are never viewed. Which means I don't really care how good it is. If nobody consumes it, they didn't get value. If they didn't get value, right, you didn't do your job to get them to make the next logical purchase. So you have to find a way to facilitate consumption. Now there's lots of ways to do this. You can go live with them. You can have them accountable in a group. Like with Becca, the reason the $1 upsell happens is because you get the group call, the one call in the 10 days, right? There's the reason in the 28 days we're consuming together as a group, right? We're allowing the group to do the upsell. Very simple to do there. Johnny, I would say like leaders respect leaders. So in the very beginning, having some facilitation of connection. I know you're from the same background as me inside of Garrett White's Warrior stuff. The reason Warrior works is connection. Connection forces consumption. right? You're not going to show up to a connection and be like, oh, I didn't do the homework. Oh, I didn't read it. Oh, I didn't do that. Right? Especially in Warrior, holy shit, they'll rip you a new asshole, right? But like in most places, you're not gonna show up and be the dickhead in the room that's like, I didn't do the work. Instead, you're gonna show up having consumed and having gotten the value. So when you guys are thinking about movement through your funnel, start optimizing for consumption. Consumption helps you with the upsell. You don't need the best copy in the world. You don't need the best fucking funnel structure in the world. You don't need VAs reaching out for you. You don't need to make 1 million dials a day. If they consume and they get the result that you claim they would get, it now validates you. Remember that certainty flow is about overcoming lack of trust. And so when you have consumption, certainty starts to build. As it flows through your product suite, you're able to sell more. Does this make sense in terms of construction for your certainty funnels and your certainty flow? Yes or no? Make sure we're on the same page. Lots of yeses. Cool. Amazing. Good stuff. All right, so really quickly, guys, I want to jump in and brainstorm with you guys on your stuff, right, for the next 8 minutes or so. But before I do that, I told you guys that we had added something pretty cool, and I want to share that with you, okay? Earlier in this, I talked to you about like the COO program that Joe and I have, where we come in and we basically run the show in your business. I'm not going to upsell you on $50,000 today, and I'm not going to upsell you on $75,000 or $100,000 today. But what I am going to do is I'm going to give you the opportunity to get a similar outcome for no additional price. Okay? I know definitively that if I could sit and I could spend time, and Becca, I think you can validate this as a one-to-one client, if I could spend time brainstorming on your funnel, like I can come up with some really good hooks and some really good ideas, some really good positioning. And I also know that if Joe looks at your ad creatives, if he looks at your targeting, and if he looks at the funnel structure, combined, like you can make a lot of fucking money. Is there anybody here that doubts us? And it's okay if you do, like I get it. Like we've only had 2 hours with you. But I think that would be pretty dope. So like if we gave you the opportunity for me, right, the visionary dude, to come in and be like, the hook should be this, the positioning should be this, right, the funnel should look like this should be the flow, and Joe's like, great, this should be the targeting, this is what the ad campaign should look like, here's how to select the audiences, here's some opportunities inside of the resources you have, right, like that's pretty cool. Would that be helpful? Like, is there anybody in here that would want that? Yeah, I mean, we'll go internationally. You should translate it for me. I mean, I'm not bilingual. I'm sure AI can figure out some translations. Okay, sick. So, like, some of you guys seem to think that, or some of you guys are just, like, busy eating with your hands, and that's okay. I wish I was. It's all good. I'll do that in, like, 10 minutes. Right? So, if that's something that you want, I feel like normally, right? Yeah, Emily, if you're doubting yourself, then this is probably like the no-brainer for you. Like, you probably need us to do that for you. Because otherwise, you can just keep fucking doubting yourself, and I don't really think you're going to make any more money. So chances are doing something like this would be highly advisable if we want to make money, right? Yeah, Joe actually just thought of something even cooler. That he just texted me on the side. He's like, hey, like we should actually write them an email sequence too, like a 3-week email sequence that we can plug in for them for no additional cost. Okay, cool. Let's just keep making this better, right? If you're at the very beginning, no followers, no teams, great. Like, cool. We can still show you what your funnel should be, right? We absolutely can do that because right now you don't need lots of social media. If we were 18 months ago, I would tell you, like, it's going to be harder. It's a much steeper climb because the world was very transactional. Now it's not as much of a steep climb, right? So if we did that, I think it would be helpful. So here's what we're going to do. Those of you guys that have already made the purchase and joined this project, you're getting this. Completely for free, it's added on, congratulations, you're an action taker, you're in. Those of you guys that have not made the purchase yet, we made it easier today. We added a 2-pay and we added a 3-pay. If you're still on the fence, Joe, do me a favor, put the link in the chat. Because what you need to do right now is you need to click this link. And you need to sign up. Right now, you're gonna see like Jason Phillips go into like, motherfucker, do some shit. Take some action, change your life. Click the link and get yourself signed up, because what Joe and I are gonna do is every single person that signs up for this project, as we're going through the 8 weeks, at any point, we are going to look at everything you're doing. We're going to assess every asset, and we are going to build you a custom blueprint for your business. Okay? One-on-one, we're gonna do it in a Loom, right? We're going to send it to you directly, and this is going to be the exact steps you need to be taking. This is how you use the product. This is how you use the resources inside the Institute. This is how we build your certainty flow. This is your personalized, customized personalized, customized certainty flow. This is something we've never offered before. This has never been done. It's not going to be offered anywhere else. It is one and done with this product. So the link is right there in the chat. If you haven't signed up, I don't know what the fuck you're waiting for. If you love being poor, like, I'm not your person. We're just not the same. That's okay. We're probably just not the same. I like being filthy fucking rich. Like, I absolutely love it. I love being able to buy whatever I want. I love being able to live in the houses I want. I love being able to go on vacations. My vacation this weekend, I have a butler. I have a butler all weekend. Like, I get to text homeboy and be like, yo, I'm at this point in the property, bring me a drink. I will tip you handsomely. I'm sure he's a handsome motherfucker too. But I get a butler. Like, when in my life, when was I like, yo, I'm gonna be at the point where I get a butler? But like, that's the fuck you life. I'm doing it on my terms, my time. And so, if you don't want that, like, that's cool. Like, that's cool. Megan, if you're 120K months, we should talk. I don't know what your profit margin is, but we should talk. Because I make you a lot of money. But here's the reality. You guys need to do that. So, we got a couple minutes left. Let's brainstorm. Who's got questions? How can I help you implement on your business? Otisha, absolutely, 100%. Megan, if you're at 40% margins, you're doing, what is that, 48K take home a month? That's significant. That's significant. I would love to understand what your vision is and where you want to get to, because I'm pretty sure we can get you there. That's really cool. Congratulations, by the way. If you never do anything with me, congratulations. That's an amazing feat. Job well done. How can I help you guys? Like, we got 2 more minutes. How can I help you? That's awesome, Megan. Good stuff. The Siege, that's great, dude. You guys are great. James Martell, what's up, brother?
Hey, so just to go through maybe another example of Becca's approach. So right now I'm preparing for the free webinar where I'm going to start running ads and then sell them into, I'm actually going to do a free challenge with VIP seats for $97. So I'm going to push that on the webinar, 10 seats only. And so that goes from free to low ticket, right? But I'm missing the very low ticket. So would love.
Your webinar is kind of the very low ticket. So what we're going to have to assess in your funnel is your show rate. So if you get a really strong show rate, then like you're fine going past the very low ticket, and the webinar itself will serve as the certainty factor that would get them to the 97, right? What we will find out is, do you have a strong enough show rate? If you don't, the way we're going to boost your show rate is adding a very low ticket at the end of that webinar sign up. So it's like, hey, you signed up for this webinar. Before attending the webinar, I really want to hook you up and show you that I'm a person of value, right? On this webinar, I'm not selling you anything. However, right, what I would love to do right now is like, here's some dietary templates. Here's all the ones responsible for fat loss with my clients. right? Collectively, they paid me thousands of dollars for this. For $1, you can have access to them. I want you to get started on this right now. On the webinar, you're going to learn exactly what you need, how you can customize these to yourself, and ultimately how we can achieve. But having access to this right now will allow you to start on the journey, and we don't waste another minute.
Okay. So that would be positioned before the webinar?
Yeah, we would put that on the thank you page.
Oh, on the thank you page? Okay.
Yeah. So like once they register on the thank you page, we make them a $1 offer.
Gotcha.
And what we could do is we could do like $1 with an OFB too, right? Like an order form bump, where we could probably get it to 17 or 18 if we really wanted to.
Okay. So you said depending on, you said show rate, but is that show rate of people actually getting on the webinar? Or is that?
A show rate of people coming on the webinar. Yep, of showing up when you give the webinar.
Gotcha.
Because 20 signups is useless if 0 people show up.
Right.
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 So obviously we're going to do everything we can to facilitate show up, right? We're going to send texts, we're going to send emails, we're going to do all like the reminders, we'll do that song and dance. But at the end of the day, we can only facilitate what we can facilitate. We know human behavior says when I've invested in something, I'm more likely to show up.
Right.
And so we might just want to put $1 on the thing. We don't know, right? We got to test. The beauty of this is we're always testing.
Right.
We're always testing. Guys, we are on, right now, we're on iteration like 6 or 7 of our certainty flow. We might even be more than that. It might be like 10 or 12, right? We've done several iterations and we're testing it every day. We just added a back end flow today, literally today. We're adding like 4 new flows off of 1 point. We're constantly tweaking it. I want conversion to be as high as humanly possible. By the way, in the background, right, at any given moment, in the background, I've got $1, $18, $48, $97, $250, or $500 coming into my Stripe account. For me doing nothing. When I leave here, I'm taking my dog to the vet. You know what I love? Well, the vet is swiping my card for $300. Somebody is swiping their card, giving me $500. And I know that what they're getting in return will make them $5,000 or $50,000. That is a beautiful fucking thing. That's how we like to look at the world. Does that make sense, dude? Is that helpful?
Yeah, so going from webinar to challenge, I have it set for 21 days.
Yep.
Would you recommend going to mid-ticket after that? So going from 21 days?
Yeah, because your VIP buyers will have bought 97. I would try to sell them on like a 500 to 1,000. I wouldn't just sell them right into coaching.
So maybe like 1,000 for 12 weeks.
Yeah, great. But it should be very low touch.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it should not require any of your time.
Okay, that helps. Thanks, Jason.
Yeah, man, you got it. Guys, great stuff. I know I have to get the VIP. Let's be honest. You guys know I'm going to bring something fire tomorrow. There's 75 of you here right now. I think at the peak we had 85 today. Let's just be honest. You know I'm full of surprises. Some epic shit's going to come tomorrow. So I'm not going to do this big whole like, buy my shit tonight. You guys know, if you want to get in, you should get in. Like, Joe, post the link again. I don't understand why you wouldn't. So I'm not going to hard sell you. I'll hard sell you tomorrow. That's what I do on the last day. So I'll just like preface you like I'm going to do that tomorrow. But like 100% click the link, get yourself in. Like, you're absolutely crazy if you don't. The opportunity here is insane. We're charging next to nothing for this. There's a 3-pay option. I think like the lowest payment's like 100 something. Like, just do it. Otherwise, those of you guys that are in VIP, we'll see you there. Jaron, I assume we're on a different link. Okay, text me that link. Guys, I'll see you on VIP. Otherwise, I'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Love you. Bye.